وسهلا بكل الذين ينضموا للاستماع إلى راديو بلدي أول راديو عربي أمريكي ويعنى بقضايا العرب في المهجر. برامجنا في راديو بلدي كل يوم جمعة من 8 وحتى 9 صباحا مع ليلى الحسيني في بث حي ومباشر وعبر WNZK راديو 690 AM. صباح الخير بلدي، صباح الخير لكل مستمعينا.
Welcome to Radio Baladi, the first Arab, Middle Eastern, and American simulcast radio show. Radio Baladi is broadcast every Friday morning on WNZK 690 AM from 8 until 9 Eastern Time on Good Morning Michigan with Layla Al-Husseini. Our call-in number 248-557-3300. And now, stay tuned for the best radio talk show on Arab and American issues with your host, Layla Al-Husseini.
Good morning, everybody. This is Ray Hanania here in Chicago on WNZK AM 690 radio. I don't know why I keep getting an echo on our side, but I know it's not coming out on the radio over there, but it is getting to be a real problem on my side. But no big deal. It is Friday, July 12th, 2019, and you're listening to the Arab Street Radio podcast, broadcast from Detroit, Michigan, through 690 AM WNZK Radio. I gotta say again, I always enjoy Crystal Mayo and her Party Train. I love her music. It really gets us going, right? It should be getting you going too. The Arab Street Radio and podcast is part of the U.S. Arab Radio Network, hosted by Layla Al-Husseini, in an effort to energize and empower Arab Americans to stand up for their rights. For more information, you can go to my website at hanania.com, and afterwards, go to the podcast archive on iTunes, Spotify, or any of the podcast carriers. You can look up the Arab Street, and you'll be able to download this podcast if you miss our radio show. And I know you don't, because we Arabs are oppressed so badly, we have no media except this show. There's very little that we have in this country. And, of course, we're always fighting with each other. We never really fight the enemy. We find it easier to fight with ourselves. We don't respect ourselves. We, just don't trust, our own people. We question them. I know. It's a big pain. It's kind of a cultural problem. When you're oppressed for so long, you're the victim of oppression. You're going to pick on yourselves. You'll turn inward and attack your own community. That's what we do best. That's what Arabs do. I see it all the time in Chicago, in Detroit, in Houston, in Los Angeles. We pick on ourselves more than we fight the enemy. Anyway, we got a bunch of topics this morning. I mean, for example, one of the topics is immigration. Should we crack down on immigration in this country? Is there an immigration problem? They've been talking about solving immigration for years. And don't you get the feeling that these elected officials, like Congressman Luis Gutierrez and all these other people that talk about immigration, they don't want to solve immigration. What they want to do is use immigration as a platform to promote their own political agenda and get elected. They want to rally the troops. And the best way to rally the troops is to have an issue that angers people so much that they will get out there and be, quote, energized. But that's the wrong way to be energized as a voter, out of anger and emotion and screaming and yelling. It's not a very effective way. But for a lot of Arabs and a lot of leftists, that's the only way they can energize the audience. They do it by getting people angry, and if they were to resolve the immigration problem, they wouldn't be able to get people angry. So, honestly, I think it's the left that's standing in the way of resolving immigration. Their demands are so outrageous that they really don't expect it to be resolved. They want to make, their demands so difficult for the other side to accept, or for mainstream America to accept, that they want to make it difficult, so that it doesn't get resolved. So they can spend, like Congressman Luis Gutierrez did, 24 years fighting for immigration, quote unquote fighting, when in fact he really didn't do anything. So we'll talk about immigration. And if you're an immigrant, I'd love to hear your story. You can share your immigration story, because the one thing about the Arab American community I know is true. 99% of Arab Americans came to this country legally. They did it using the law. There were hurdles. There were, laws that discriminated against us. But in the past half century, most Arab Americans came here fleeing oppression, seeking, a better life, wanting to start new, or just they were in love with America. They came to the United States as legal citizens. They did it the right way. They didn't sneak in. They didn't lie at the border about whether they were, seeking asylum. They didn't have kids here as a way to create a legal basis for them to stay. They actually did it the right way. They came here, they applied, and everybody has that same process of doing it. By the way, I want to shout out to a buddy of mine, Ahmad Hamad. There's a guy, I don't know if he wants to call in this morning and talk about his story, but I remember Ahmad and I met years ago when I think he had an immigration problem. And I was a writer at the Sun-Times back at a period when Arab Americans would help each other, and he reached out to me and I helped him. And it's up to him if he wants to call in and share that story. Ahmad Hamad with the Human Rights Campaign out in Detroit. He's a great guy. And I'm going to go out of my way, by the way, to network and help groups like Hamad and his organization and Layla al-Husseini. I'm going to network and try to promote these organizations to give them more support, because our community gets very little support from our different organizations. What we do get is anger and emotion and all that stuff. So one of the issues is immigration. I want to hear, should we crack down on immigration? And call in and tell us your story at 248-557-3300. And Ahmad, if you're out there listening and if you feel comfortable telling your story, how you came here and how we work together, I think it'd be a great story. It might motivate people to do good, to help each other, because that's what it was all about back then. We're also talking about the census. Why not collect data on citizens? I know that not everybody likes it, but we could talk about it. I mean, we could tolerate it. We have a tolerance for all topics. We don't have to hate each other because we disagree about stuff. So let's talk about the census. Should we collect data on citizenship? Should we collect data on Arab Americans? The census is so important. I think we should have data on everything. I don't like the idea of just targeting one thing like citizenship, or excluding Arab Americans the way the census and the government has, not just under Trump, but under Barack Obama. The guy was in office 8 years. He didn't do crap for the Arab American or Palestinian community. He did the talk, but he didn't walk the walk. The big phony. And I always say that, Michelle Obama grew up in my neighborhood on the southeast side of Chicago. And I think she's a brilliant, smart person. I did meet her. I did speak with her briefly back when her kids were, very young, and my son was very young. We did meet, and she's a good person, and I'm sure Barack Obama is a good person too. But, once they get into office, that's when it tells, and he did not do a good job. He's a phony. He cheated us, he lied to us, and he compromised on our issues because he didn't want to fight the big fight. What he did want to do is, hey, he was the first African American. He wanted to make himself look good. He could be like Abraham Lincoln years from now. People look back at him, and he wanted to build his image more than risk it by taking on very challenging fights. And then also, listen, we might talk about Rashida Tlaib, who, by the way, I think is going to lose election coming up next year. She's not going to win. I think the Democratic primary in Michigan is in August. And she needs to run, and she's doing a terrible job. She's doing a great job as an Arab American, but she's doing a terrible job as a candidate in a district that's 75% African American. She's not doing anything for the African American community. And I'm telling you, she's going to lose. Mark my words, she's going to lose. And she's a mean person, too. The way she she blocks me. If you have an opinion that's different from Rashida Tlaib, Rashida Tlaib thinks she's the leader of the Palestinian people. She gets angry with you, and she will not have a discussion with you, and she will block you, and she'll attack you, and she'll say vicious things about you, because that's where Rashida Tlaib comes from. She comes from that negative flow of anger in the Arab American community, where negativity is the focus, not positive stuff. She doesn't do positive things. She's out there beating up on people. She has a bludgeon, big club, and she's beating people up over the head. That's what she's doing. And we can talk about Rashida Tlaib. By the way, she got in a fight with a bunch of politicians, not the Republicans, but the Democrats. The Democrats are fighting with the Palestinians more than the Republicans. Oh, that's right. The Democrats are worse than the Republicans when it comes to Palestinian rights. And by the way, finally, I'm going to tell you, Jesus was a Palestinian. And I wrote a column. If you go to thearabstreet.com, you can read my column on being that Jesus was a Palestinian, and that Christians are, and even Muslims, are the chosen people, because they did what God wanted us to do. They converted. Jesus was a Jewish rabbi who became the symbol of Christianity, and Christians converted and became Christians to follow his word. And I believe that he's the chosen person, and people who follow him are the chosen people. So Benjamin Netanyahu says that Palestinians are, foreigners to Palestine, that we don't belong there. He's the one who opened up this thing. He said we have no DNA connection, but of course Netanyahu is a racist warmonger, and he's a liar too, on top of all that. So he opened this door, but I'm not afraid to challenge it and take it on and confront his lies, and racist apartheid lies, where he says Palestinians don't have a right to Palestine, that only people who are Jewish from Europe and everything. In my column, I talk about people like Abba Eban, the eloquent foreign minister who I savaged him, is a better word, when we were on national TV back in 1976. And I pointed out that my dad and my grandfather and all my ancestors were born in Jerusalem. Abba Eban was born in some foreign European country, and his real name was Aubrey Solomon. And he said that he had more of a right to live in Palestine than I did. And that's the kind of garbage that we're up against. We can go to the phones. Jerry Haba is on the line. Jerry is our number one fan. Jerry Haba. 248-557-3300. How you doing, Jerry?
Thank you very much, Mr. Ray Hanania. And thank you for the beautiful words you gave it to me. It is an honor to be in your show. And this is the loyalty, because, Ray, I'm not trying to, polish you, but this is reality. You speak your mind and you said the truth, and you don't care if the other people like you or not. You say the truth as it is.
I agree with you.
If
you
it's
are
white,
right.
it's white. If it's black, it's a black. But then Ray Hanania, from those colors, he creates the rainbow, the beautiful rainbow in the sky. So I honor you and I respect you, Ray Hanania, and I respect your producer, Mr. Mike Shapka. He's a very nice, intelligent person.
He's good.
I try to remember something, Ray. When the Holy Pope of the Vatican visited the Holy Land, when the late PLO leader Yasser Arafat was in charge, when he welcomed the Holy Pope at that time, and I do believe maybe Ray, he was John Paul II, the first Polish Pope, and I noticed, Ray, there was a big sign, among the flag of the Vatican and the Palestinian, a big sign say, "Welcome, Holy Father, to the land of the first commandos." He refers to Jesus Christ, to the first commandos in the land of Palestine, the Holy Land. So you look how Yasser Arafat, he honored Jesus Christ. He was the first Palestinian commando at that time. And yes, Jesus, he fought the Roman Empire, not with sword, not with bullets. There was no bullets that time, but with peace and love and forgiveness. Do you agree with you?
I agree with you. I think, sometimes power doesn't come from yelling and screaming. Power comes from being smart and, getting your message out. But that's something, unfortunately, you're Arab. You're actually Chaldean. So technically, you don't consider yourself Arab. Do you, Jerry? Are you Arab?
Right. If I deny I am just Chaldean, I'll be lied to the history and to the truth.
And it don't matter to me. I just don't want to disrespect anybody.
Mr. Ray, in the history books, when we were students in Baghdad, Iraq, where I born, there was a history lessons, classes, and what it say? العرب قبل الإسلام، العرب قبل المسيحية، العرب قبل اليهودية. Mean the Arabic was there as a language, as a history. I know the origin of Arab came from the peninsula, which right now the Arab Peninsula, Saudi Arabia, and Yemen, and Najd, and Hijaz. That was the source of the Arabia. And after Islam came in as a religion, they tried to expand their religion, expand their territory. So they start moving into the next door neighbors, which was Iraq, Syria, Egypt, North Africa, just like any. But remind me about Jesus Christ when I told you he fought the most aggressive empire, the Roman Empire. The history repeats itself. When Mahatma Gandhi, the founder of India, fought the British Empire, which they were controlling lands from the sunrise to the sunset, and he fought the British Empire with love, with his cane, with his homemade clothes he wore, and he wore sandals. Mahatma Gandhi, he followed the step of Jesus Christ, and he was able to bring freedom and independence for the great country of India.
Yeah.
And that's the truth, right? Right. We come to the immigration. There is nothing wrong with immigrants coming to this country, but I respect you when you say 95% of Arabs, they came, or Chaldean from Middle East, they came legally. Right, I am one of them. In 1972, I left Baghdad, and I was 18 years old. I came to Beirut, Lebanon, and I applied for a visa at the United States Embassy because the American Embassy was closed in Baghdad because of the 1967, and you remember the Arab countries, government, and government, they boycott Israel, America, and most the Arab government, they cut the diplomatic relation with America, and that's what was wrong, Ray. It is very wrong to cut diplomatic, because nowadays, Ray, communication is through the diplomacy. If you don't have bridges, you don't have nothing.
Yeah,
and
so
everybody is welcome to come to America, because this is a great country, Mr. Ray. Hanania was built on the shoulder and the hands of immigrants. You remember, Ray, the Italian, they come here, the Irish, they come here.
But Jerry, isn't there a difference between immigrants who sneak in, who come in illegally? Isn't there a difference between them and what you did? What my parents did.
Big difference.
Even all my relatives today, they come here legally. They didn't sneak in, and they weren't working for not all of them do, but some of them do. From the South, they're working for this drug industry from the Sinaloa cartel and all these drug monsters.
Excuse me, Mr. Ray. There is nobody above the law. Ray, in 1972, when I came to Beirut, Lebanon, I waited 2 years for my visa. And you know, Ray, what I did in 2 years in Lebanon? I went and I sneaked and I worked in a factory for 2 years, get money to survive. And when my visa came in, Ray, I was right away granted the visa and medical test, and they put me on a TWA from Beirut to Milano, Italy to New York,
Good.
to the great Detroit.
Sure.
So, Ray, did anybody give me a hard time when I came here? No, because I came legally. So I wish, Ray, if those people in the south border, with my respect to them, I do feel sorry, Ray, for those children, for those mother, for those, yes, maybe they run away from their country for a politics reason, for any other reason, yes, and they try to find the dream land, which is United States of America. But please, come legally. Apply for political asylum, but don't try to sneak and put the life of your children in jeopardy. Look, Ray, the guy and his child, they were found dead on the shore. Ray, United States did not get
and they want to blame it on the politicians. They want to
just
blame
like this Alexandra Cortez from New York. She said, Ray, that they are given a drinking from the sewer, from the bathroom water, giving it to those people. This is a big lie, Ray.
Yeah, I agree.
Shame on her.
Jerry, we got to go. I'm telling you, we got to go. I gave you a lot of time. We love you. You're one of our biggest fans,
I love you, and thank you for your show, Ray. And I wish all the Arab media will follow the step of you and Miss Layla Al-Husseini.
We don't have an Arab media. What we have are a bunch of angry people in this country. We don't have an Arab media, sadly. Listen,
we do
Jerry,
have some local, but Ray, I want everybody to follow your steps.
You're a good
God
man,
bless you, Ray.
Jerry.
God bless America. God bless all the legal immigrants they come in here.
All right, thanks, Jerry. That's Jerry. How about our caller? Our number is 248-557-3300. You're listening to the Arab Street Radio broadcast from Detroit, Michigan on 690 AM WNZK. I'm Ray Hanania, and we want to hear what you have to say. But first, we're going to take a break, and we will catch up on our breaks, too, in a little bit. We'll be right back right after these messages.
If halal is important to your family, you can trust that Miramar will offer not only the highest quality halal products, but the best tasting and healthiest foods that can be placed on your family table with confidence. Miramar is the first and oldest halal certified food brand in America, serving the Arab and Muslim community, and offers a wide range of halal food products. Check out Miramar's halal food selection today by visiting Miramar's executive distributor, Ziyad Brothers Importing, at www.ziyad.com.
Life is a non-profit charity that's provided humanitarian aid and development to people and communities for over 25 years, regardless of race, color, religion, or cultural background. When disaster occurs here or around the world, Life for Relief and Development rushes in to provide food, medical aid, and shelter to those in need. Please help improve these efforts. Make your tax-deductible donation to Life now at lifeusa.org or call 248-424-7493.
تعرفوا شيء، احنا كتير بنهتم بالمقبلات بالاكل الشامي،
واحنا بنهتم بالبهارات والتسبيكة في الاكل المصري،
واحنا نهتم هواية باللحوم وجودتها بالاكل العراقي، واحنا في مطعم عشتار نهتم بيكم. اعتمدوا علينا ايا كان. نحن في عشتار نعرف ان لكل مذاق اسرار، فنحن نقدم اجود انواع اللحوم من ملحمة عشتار الواقعة على 56865 راين رود.
عشتار، قصة حضارة ترويها لكم أطباقنا المميزة في كل زيارة.
تفضلوا بزيارتنا في 3625 East 15 Mile Road, Sterling Heights.
مطعم عشتار بإدارة فادي بهنام وعلي البغدادي. 586-698-2585 586-698-2585.
Are you going to start a restaurant or grocery store soon? Do you need floor plans and designs? Call Naji Abood at 734-744-9796. Do you want to buy kitchen and restaurant equipment at discount prices? Call Naji Abood now, 734-744-9796. New Concept Products and Design, the trademark of kitchen equipment. 5% discount on all purchases of $75,000 or more. New Concept Products and Design, new location, 31185 Schoolcraft in Livonia. Learn more at www.newconceptproducts.com. Call Najee Abood, 734-744-9796.
And welcome back to the Arab Street Radio and Podcast. It is July 12, 2019. And this is Ray Hanania here at 690 AM WNZK. You can join the conversation at 248-557-3300. We're talking about a lot of topics. Michigan Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib took on Twitter Wednesday to denounce legislation that punishes advocates who boycott Israel's racist apartheid practices and challenging three of the Democratic Party's most powerful congressional leaders. I mean, it's just really unbelievable. The bill that she's fighting is House Resolution 246. It was introduced by pro-Israel Congressman Gerald Nadler, the Democratic Party chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, and by Congressman Richard Neal, the Democratic chairman of the Ways and Means Committee, and Elijah Cummings, the Democratic chairman of the House Oversight Committee. The BDS issue reflects how most Democrats are in fact at the front lines of defending Israel's racist violence against Palestinians, despite the perception that Israel's biggest supporter is Republican President Donald J. Trump. Tlaib, who is a Democrat, has been a long supporter of the BDS boycott, divestment, sanction movement. She tweeted from her personal account at Rashida Tlaib rather than from her congressional account at Rep. Tlaib on Wednesday. This message, at House Foreign, wants to move forward with H.R. 246, anti-BDS bill to silence opposition of Israel's blatantly racist policies that demonize both Palestinians and Ethiopians. Our First Amendment right to free speech allows boycott of inhumane policies. This bill is unconstitutional. Tlaib's Twitter post included a link to a story about how the Israeli city of Afula is implementing a policy to prevent non-Jews, Christians, and Muslims from using the city's public parks. Israeli police this week blocked and turned away a Palestinian mother who lives in Afula and her young son when they tried to use the ostensibly public park. U.S. Senator Marco Rubio, a Republican racist hater and champion of Israel's discriminatory policies against non-Jews in Israel and in the occupied territories, responded by denouncing Tlaib as anti-Semitic. Oh my God. Rubio tweeted in response Wednesday asserting that boycotting companies that boycott Israel is also constitutionally protected. That's funny. The difference that Rubio failed to address in his response is that legislation he and more than 339 co-sponsors of the anti-BDS legislation in Congress and the Senate is that their bill would strip constitutional protections from Americans who boycott Israel's racist settler policies in the occupied territories. Rubio's hypocrisies and double standards are obvious, as his legislation would impose penalties against critics of Israel while supporting the right of pro-Israel supporters to criticize Tlaib. In other words, what he's saying is that boycotting companies that boycott Israel is also constitutionally protected. The word also suggests that we have a right to boycott Israel, but he says we should be punished, and he's passing a law that says we'll punish anybody who boycotts Israel. So Marco Rubio, the hypocrite, tiny little man, the little guy, he's such a baby, Marco Rubio. You know, he's Cuban, and sometimes those Cubans down south, you know, they were the real vicious community in Miami. They just went off the deep end. They hate everybody over there. Marco Rubio represents a small segment of the Cuban community that's very racist down in Florida. So that's where he comes from. But Rubio's hypocrisies are just typical. But here's the point, that it wasn't Rubio that really started the fight with Tlaib, a Democrat. It was the Democrats. Three of the most powerful members of the Democratic Party went after her over this issue of Israel and the Palestinians. To me, that's hypocrisy. That exposes the real hypocrisy that these people, the Democrats, are worse than the Republicans. These Democrats are worse when it comes to civil rights and human rights. These Democrats are worse when it comes to protecting Christians who live in the Middle East and Muslims who live in the Middle East. They don't care. They're not real Christians, and they hate us. And they'll do anything worse, far worse than President Donald Trump. According to OpenSecrets.org, and you can look this up, pro-Israel PACs gave Nadler $165,000. They gave Neal $11,000, and they gave Cummings $136,000 in cash donations to their campaign funds. Rubio has received, listen to this, this is what Marco, the hypocrite Rubio, has received, $630,435 from pro-Israel PACs. You just go to OpenSecrets.org, you can find that out. The BDS legislation and pro-Israel campaign contributions pull the veil off of the false perception that there is a difference between Republicans and Democrats when it comes to racist Israeli government policies. The Israeli government is racist. They're pursuing extremist agendas, and we need to stand up to them. You're listening again to the Arab Street Radio and Podcast. I'm Ray Hanania. We're going to catch up and take another break. Let's do that right now, and then when we come back, we can talk more about immigration. Should we crack down on immigration? And as an Arab, I want you to tell us your story about how you came to this country. We'll talk about the census, too, and we might even talk about Rashida Tlaib fighting with the Democrats and the fact that she's going to be, she's not going to get reelected. You heard it here first. She, by the way, is a terrible representative of the Palestinians. She's mean. She's vindictive. She hates probably Palestinians more than she hates Israelis. She blocked Ray Hanania, a Palestinian, but didn't block Benjamin Netanyahu. That tells her what the problem is with Rashida Tlaib. I'm Ray Hanania here at WNZK 690 Radio. We're going to be right back right after these radio messages.
Kashat's Mediterranean Market and Shish Kebab offers a great array of your favorite Mediterranean meals. Meals range from lamb specialties, shawarma sandwiches, seafood dinners, and they offer special big trays of your favorite food, plus much more. Kashat's Mediterranean Market and Shish Kebab address is 32839 Northwestern Highway in Farmington Hills. Their phone number is 248-538-9552. That number again is 248-538-9552, and the supermarket is open from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Kashat's Mediterranean Market and Shish Kebab will definitely leave you satisfied.
The Rama Relief Foundation provides humanitarian aid into areas inside of war-torn Syria, as well as aid to the refugees who have fled to the neighboring countries in the Middle East. The foundation offers food baskets, container shipment, mental health, education, soup kitchens, and more. Go to ramarelief.org or call 248-990-4247. Any donation amount made to Rama will go to sustaining many lives. Call now 248-990-4247.
تعرفوا شيء، احنا كتير بنهتم بالمقبلات بالاكل الشامي،
واحنا بنهتم بالبهارات والتسبيكة في الاكل المصري،
واحنا نهتم هواية باللحوم وجودتها بالاكل العراقي، واحنا في مطعم عشتار نهتم بيكم. اعتمدوا علينا ايا كان. نحن في عشتار نعرف ان لكل مذاق اسرار، فنحن نقدم اجود انواع اللحوم من ملحمة عشتار الواقعة على 56865 راين رود.
عشتار، قصة حضارة ترويها لكم أطباقنا المميزة في كل زيارة.
تفضلوا بزيارتنا في 3625 East 50 Mile Road, Sterling Heights.
مطعم عشتار بإدارة فادي بهنام وعلي البغدادي. 586-698-2585 586-698-2585.
When it comes to reproductive medicine, IVF Michigan Fertility Centers are the recognized leaders. With locations in Bloomfield Hills and 5 other cities in Michigan and Ohio, IVF has experts in all aspects of the field. As a founding member of IVF Michigan Fertility Centers, Dr. Nicholas Shama is one of the leading reproductive endocrinologists in Michigan and Ohio. Dr. Shama has performed over 10,000 IVF cases and has helped thousands of couples fulfill their dreams of parenthood. American board certified in both obstetrics obstetrics and gynecology and reproductive endocrinology and infertility, Dr. Nicholas Shama is a very caring, compassionate, expert physician that understands not only the medical but also the emotional toil of infertility on his patients. When it's time, get personalized care from Dr. Nicholas Shama at IVF Michigan Fertility Centers in Michigan and Ohio. Call toll-free 855-952-9600, 855-952-9600.
And welcome back to the Arab Street Radio and Podcast. I'm Ray Hanania, broadcasting live. I'm outside of Chicago, and we broadcast through WNZK AM 690 Radio in Michigan and Detroit, in the greater Detroit region. So when you're in Detroit, you can hear the radio show live, but outside of Detroit, you can go to hanania.com or US Arab Radio, and you get the links to listen online, because we have people who listen all over the world. My friend Mohammed Mary in the Gaza Strip is listening. He's a great guy. And, I'm going to bring him on the radio show, I think, in the next week or two when I'm on, to talk about his project to document the natural resources of Palestine. He's a photojournalist, and he wants to take pictures of all of the animals, all of the plant life, all of the insect life in Palestine, to document it, because we can't just focus on politics. We have to focus on everything if we want to protect Palestine from being destroyed by the racist Israeli apartheid government. You have to kind of invest in that. So he needs camera equipment, and I'm trying to find a way to raise the money so that Mohammed Mary can get the camera equipment. He's an award-winning photographer. He's phenomenal. I've known him for many, many years. He's a great guy. And we want to raise some money so we can buy the camera equipment for him so that he can go out and take high-quality photos of insects, little insects that are indigenous to Palestine, to take high-quality photos of the animals that are in Palestine. These are Palestinian animals, not Israeli, all right? And we want to take, and Mohammed wants to take high-quality photos of the, the plant life, the vegetation, the flowers, everything. We need to document this for Palestinian history, that Palestine does exist. And the only way we can do that isn't just by screaming and yelling, about Palestine, what Israel's government is doing to us, but it is about turning inward and doing something positive. We have to be positive. We have to put all our energies into positive agendas and positive programs and positive efforts to promote the Palestinians, because yelling and screaming is a bad way to represent us. It shouldn't be the only way. And when it is the only way, it actually undermines us. And unfortunately, that's what a lot of people are doing. Our call-in number is 248-557-3300, so give us a buzz. I'd like to hear your story about immigration, because I know every Arab in this country pretty much is an immigrant. My parents immigrated here. My dad came here in 1926 from Palestine. His brother Yusuf drowned in the quarry, and he was upset because in the police report, which I had, it said that nobody would help him. Muslims thought he was Jewish, Jews thought he was Muslim, Christians thought he was Muslim or Jewish. They wouldn't help him because they thought he was something else. And as much as they talk about how Palestine's population in the 20s was all happy and diverse and everybody loved each other, that's not true. The communities were divided between Jewish and Christian and Muslim, and they were fighting. And nobody tried to bring everybody together, I don't think. So my dad decided that he was going to leave. He and my cousin and his cousin worked at the Jerusalem post office for years. I have a phenomenal collection of Palestine stamps from the Mandate, when the British were in charge, and prior to the Mandate. Stamps that they issued in Palestine, the Ottoman stamps. I collect stamps and I collect coins. I love them. But I have almost a near complete collection of every Palestinian stamp that was issued during the Mandate, and they're just beautiful. But, nobody spends any time talking about that stuff. All we do is talk about anger and hate and screaming and yelling. And I'm really sick of that. I think we need to talk about other stuff too. But that's why I criticize some of the people in our community like Rashida Tlaib. All she does is yell and scream. And she's talking about issues that, they are important. And I'm really excited to see a Palestinian in Congress, better than Justin Amash, who I think is a hypocrite. He's a Republican Palestinian congressman. I think he's from Lansing or whatever. But he really hasn't done anything for the Palestinians. He's, I think, a libertarian or something, but he's very conservative, and I'm not against that. But I am against the fact that you can't even stand up for your own people. And he doesn't do that. He says nothing about it. It's amazing. Rashida Tlaib is just the opposite, but she's still a problem. One, she's not going to get reelected. Two, she's focused. She's kind of an extremist. I've gotten a lot of text messages just in the last 20 minutes and a lot of emails, and I'm looking at them all, and a lot of Facebook messages from people who said, would you repeat that point that you made about Rashida Tlaib, that she went out of her way to block me, a Palestinian, because I once questioned her accusations and effort to destroy some people in Detroit that she didn't agree with. And all I did was question her to ask her, how can she say what she said? And she started yelling and screaming at me. I mean, she was just emotional. And she hung up on me, and then she attacked me on Twitter, and then she attacked me in emails, and she joined that group of fanatics, the losers, that I call them. A lot of them are based in Detroit, this small group of haters. They hate Palestinians more than they hate everybody else. So the point they asked me to repeat was that Rashida Tlaib has blocked Ray Hanania on her Twitter account, okay? She's blocked me, but she hasn't blocked Benjamin Netanyahu. She hasn't blocked Avigdor Lieberman. She hasn't blocked Donald Trump. She hasn't blocked these racists that are doing more damage to the Palestinians. But she did block a Palestinian like me because that symbolizes the problem that exists in the Palestinian community. We hate ourselves more than we hate the Israeli racists in the Israeli government. That is a fact. 248-557-3300 is our number. 248-557-3300 is our number. You give us a buzz, and I want to hear your story. I want to hear how you feel about Rashida Tlaib, because even though I disagree with her, I still would like to see her win, but she's doing a terrible job. She has no idea how to run a political campaign. She lucked out only because the African-American vote split. Some of the biggest names in the African-American community ran in the last election. They split the black vote, and she snuck in with a few hundred votes. And people think she's going to get reelected, and I'm telling you right now that Brenda Jones, if Brenda Jones gets in the race, she's the, president of the Detroit City Council, African-American and Democrat. Brenda Jones is going to win and be the congresswoman from that district. That district has been traditionally African-American, and it's going to revert back to African-Americans. And Rashida Tlaib is going to be a blip. And the real sad part is that the enemies of Palestine are going to use that to say, we silence the voices of Palestinians, which is not true. Rashida Tlaib is going to be the cause of silencing the Palestinian voice because of her stupid politics and her stupid policy of blocking me instead of blocking Benjamin Netanyahu. I'm Ray Hanania here at WMZK AM 690, the Arab Street Radio. 248-557-3300. We're going to take our final break right now. We'll do that. And then when we come back, if you want to share your immigration story, I want you to call in 248-557-3300. Or if you disagree with me, I don't mind. Disagreement is good. That's how we get into real topics. You call up and you share your views about Rashida Tlaib. 248-557-3300. I'm Ray Hanania. We're going to be right back right after these final advertising messages.
أيام زمان كان طعم الأكل غير. كان جدي يجيب لي لأكلة المحاشي والكبة المشوية بتعرفي اشتقنا لأيام زمان والطعم الطيب.
بس اليوم مع زيادة منتج بديل دهن الخروف الحقيقي بطعم اللية بيعطيكي نفس الطعم الغني والمميز، مجفف معقم سهل الاستعمال وحلال 100%. يمكن استعماله في جميع الأكلات الشرقية، ما عليكي إلا أنه تفتحي الظرف وتضيفي من طعم اللية واستمتعي باللقمة الشهية.
وصحتين وهنا.
Life is a non-profit charity that's provided humanitarian aid and development to people and communities for over 25 years, regardless of race, color, religion, or cultural background. When disaster occurs here or around the world, Life for Relief and Development rushes in to provide food, medical aid, and shelter to those in need. Please help improve these efforts. Make your tax-deductible donation to Life now at lifeusa.org or call 248-424-7493.
تعرفوا شيء، احنا كتير بنهتم بالمقبلات بالاكل الشامي،
واحنا بنهتم بالبهارات والتسبيكة في الاكل المصري،
واحنا نهتم هواية باللحوم وجودتها بالاكل العراقي، واحنا في مطعم عشتار نهتم بيكم. اعتمدوا علينا ايا كان. نحن في عشتار نعرف ان لكل مذاق اسرار، فنحن نقدم اجود انواع اللحوم من ملحمة عشتار الواقعة على 56865 راين رود.
عشتار، قصة حضارة ترويها لكم أطباقنا المميزة في كل زيارة.
تفضلوا بزيارتنا في 3625 East 50 Mile Road ستيرلينغ هايتس.
مطعم عشتار بإدارة فادي بهنام وعلي البغدادي. 586-698-2585 586-698-2585.
When you're looking for the best in optical care, Dr. Imad Nakash is your doctor to see. With years of experience and thousands of successful procedures performed, you can trust your eyes to Dr. Imad Nakash. See Dr. Imad Nakash and his professional staff for your eye care needs. There's 2 locations to serve you. In Hazel Park, call 248-336-3937. 248-336-3937. In Rochester Hills, call 248-299-3937. That's 248-299-3937.
The Rama Relief Foundation provides humanitarian aid into areas inside of war-torn Syria, as well as aid to the refugees who have fled to the neighboring countries in the Middle East. The foundation offers food baskets, container shipment, mental health, education, soup kitchens, and more. Go to ramarelief.org or call 248-990-4247. Any donation amount made to Rama will go to sustaining many lives. Call now 248-990-4247.
And welcome back to the Arab Street Radio and Podcast. I'm Ray Hanania. This is WNZK AM 690 Radio in Greater Detroit, Michigan. And you are listening to probably the only real discussion in America about Arab American issues. No one else takes on these challenges the way Layla Al-Husseini's radio program, Monday through Friday. She's been doing it for years. This radio show has been out there helping Arab Americans to stimulate a public discussion, because that's the only way we learn. That is the secret to empowerment. When the community talks to itself about issues and we have discussions and we promote events and we promote activities and we promote ideas and we listen and we learn. We don't have to agree. It's not about agreement. It's in fact, it's about disagreement. We don't have to agree. But it's so important to be successful that you need to understand the opposition view. You need to understand it honestly, and you need to understand it accurately. And if you can do that, then you can be successful. It doesn't come from screaming and yelling and protesting. You know, usually, like I said, and, you know, like a lot of people, thank you for all the people that are, you know, I know in the Arab community, we're afraid to express our views. You know, they don't want Rashida Tlaib attacking them the way she attacks me all the time. I get it, you know, but I'm not afraid of that. I've been a journalist for, over 40 years, and I know the problems are in the Palestinian and the Arab community. I know them. I see them every day. And a lot of people, they get mad at me because they say, why are you bringing up the dirty laundry? Why do you talk about the differences? And I say, hey, the only way you can be successful is to address the failings, to address the failings, to address the failures, to address the problems, and then correct them. That's the only way you can be successful. You cannot be successful by bearing the failings, brushing them under the rug, sweeping them under the rug. You have to address them out loud. You have to speak to them. And if you don't do that, then they exist forever, and they get worse. They fester. So I think that, I wish we had, talk radio. I wish I had 5 hours every day to talk about all this stuff. I used to when I was at WLS in Chicago, because I know the power of the media. And I understand we do a terrible job as Arab Americans. We do not do our job as Arab Americans. We do not really understand the power of the media. We understand how negative it is. We understand how hurtful it can be. But we don't understand how it can be used to empower our community. Layla Al-Husseini understands that. She knows how important the media is. She dedicates every penny that she makes to putting together this radio show, and you need to support her. You need to help her. Because if it wasn't for her, what would we have? We'd have very little. There's some good programs on. I know that. I'm not knocking them. But I'm saying here's a woman who's dedicated herself, and she has done so much. In fact, let's bring on the star of the show, Layla Al-Husseini. Say hi to her. Hey, Layla.
Good morning, Ray. I'm listening to your show today. Thank you so much for bringing those great...
ruckus? Am I causing a problem?
No, definitely. Listen, I'm listening to you, and I think you have a point here with raising a question. If we disagree with anyone, should we be blocked from maybe? This is terrible. You know what? I was reporting the other day. Let me tell you my experience, Ray. With Rashida, she did the same with me. She blocked me on Facebook because back to one of the cases, I didn't agree with the ADC case. I didn't take a side and with any of the party. I don't want to bring this case anymore to the public, but to tell you that she did block me because I didn't take her side with this story. So I know exactly where you're coming from, and everybody he asked her about Layla Al-Husseini, she claims she doesn't know me, and then it's too funny to me that because funny. I did not really want to take a side with one of those people involved at the time with this case. I just wanted to stay away from the argument at the time.
Layla, let me ask you a question, Layla.
Right.
Isn't it shocking that she would go out of her way to block you, to block me, but she doesn't block the people who are destroying Palestine? Benjamin Netanyahu.
Definitely, this is a question mark. Listen, I do support her. We do support every Arab American and Muslims, and we do admire they're really fighting to get our voices out. But they should do better when it comes to politics. You cannot really do this. You have to open a true discussion with everyone has an opinion, and we have to respect that.
She's a congresswoman now. She says
absolutely,
she's a Palestinian congresswoman, so she represents us. She should unblock both of us, and she should listen to us whether she agrees with us or not.
Definitely, I do agree with you, and this is the same when the court really ruled that our president Donald Trump cannot block anyone who disagree with him.
Yes.
It's absolutely funny to me that if I don't agree with you, I'm following you on Twitter, that you can block me because I disagree with you. This is really, you're a president of the United States, and you cannot do this. This is the same case applied here to our president Donald Trump. This is my comment.
Rashida is a little like Donald Trump. What's the difference between the two of them?
Thank you, Ray, for bringing those topics. You're doing a great job. Thank you for this transparency in bringing topics maybe nobody dares to speak about it. Thank you, Ray. Appreciate it.
You're welcome,
Bye-bye.
Layla. Listen, thank you for all the work that you do, because I know how tough it is to do radio. I did it for 30 years, 10 years at WLS, and it was very powerful, and it still is powerful. And I think what you do every morning, Monday through Friday, is phenomenal, and I admire you. You're one of
And
our
we're gonna still speak our mind, Ray. And this is what journalism is. I mean, be honest, be straightforward, and speak your mind, and open discussion to people who might disagree or agree with us. This is what really make our country is freedom of speech, and I mean different. Thank you so much.
We should be able to. You and I don't have to agree to stand up. We're more powerful when we work together.
Absolutely.
We don't have to. Nobody can agree 100% on stuff. Nobody.
Definitely. Thank you, Ray.
All right. You're welcome. Layla El-Husseini, the founder of US Arab Radio, took a minute to call in, and I certainly appreciate it. I'm Ray Hanania, 248-557-3300. We only got a few more minutes if you want to call in, but I want to say how much I appreciate, all of you. I mean, I know people are afraid, because of the bullies and the extremists in our community. They're afraid to call in. They're afraid to talk about issues because they're not afraid that the Israelis are going to beat up on them. They're afraid that the Palestinians, like Rashida Tlaib and her gang times, will go after us and criticize us and attack us. And I'll tell you something, I'm not afraid to stand up to Rashida. I'm not afraid to stand up to anybody. All Rashida has to do is change, be honest, be fair, and listen to everybody. Don't be blocking me and not block Benjamin Netanyahu. It's just ironic. It's just pathetic. It just shows how, puerile Rashida is, childish. She's kind of a baby. Anyway, you can get all my views at my website at hanania.com. You can get all my podcasts at thearabstreet.org. If you go to hanania.com, you'll get the links to everything. All my columns, all my radio shows, all my podcasts. I do 2 podcasts, one on mainstream American politics. And I also have a book. And I got to say that I'm so disappointed that so many Arab Americans are running for office and they haven't bought my book, Power PR. Because if they did, they would get elected because they would understand communications. But because they don't buy it, that tells me they don't understand how important communication and public relations strategy is to winning an election. I have a friend in Chicago who's running for Congress, such a great guy, but I think he gets swept up into the emotion rather than into the strategy. We don't want to be in the emotional pool. Okay, get out of the emotional pool, people. Get into the strategy pool. Get into the swimming pool of strategy. Step out of the swimming pool of anger and emotion. Step into the swimming pool of being smooth, being intelligent, and being successful. That's the only way we're going to be successful. So again, thank you everybody for listening to me this morning. I'm here on the second Friday of every month on WNZK AM 690. And remember, my website, hanania.com. Get all the information you want. Just look me up. I'm all over the internet. You can't miss me. But hanania.com is my hub. I should call it the Jerry Hubba website because that's where I have everything. And I want to thank Jerry and Layla and all the people who messaged me today during the show. You guys have a great day, and thanks, Mike, for managing the show. We appreciate it. We will talk to you again soon. Keep in touch by visiting hanania.com. Have a good day, everybody. Bye-bye.